All right, Gundam fans, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. Today, we're actually on the third episode of the Hidden One-Year War from MS IGLOO, the CGI series I've been covering recently. And so far, what we've noticed from the first two episodes is really the overall story has to do with a special division within the Principality of Zeon, that during the One-Year War, they were tasked with operating experimental, prototyped, or outdated units, almost in an attempt to just throw whatever Zeon had out against the Federation during that time. We're following a crew on the Jotunheim, and from the first episode, they used the Jormungand. I forget the name exactly, but it's that giant plasma space cannon. The second episode was the tank, the Hildoffer. And so you can view those videos I've posted if you kind of want to get an idea of what was going on there. But with this third episode, we're not only following up with the crew, but in this case, the weaponry they're using is actually an MS. It's just kind of interesting in this respect because it is very similar to the first two episodes, as this MS they have is already outdated due to a design flaw. But again, Zeon just wants to throw everything they have out. So knowing that these mobile suits are going to be destroyed, they just have this unit send them out to battle. So this episode is called Dance of the Orbital Ghost, or as MB likes to point out, the illusion that lingers over the orbit. So like with the previous episode, it seems to be just different ways to translate the episode name. They basically speak on the same things, but yeah, just kind of interesting, different episode names. So we're seeing this takes place in UC 0079, October 24th. It's good to kind of keep that in mind to see where we are in the One-Year War. Just for some reference, the first two episodes in this series took place earlier in the One-Year War. A lot of what takes place in Gundam 0079 is the later half of the war. And something like 0080 happens to take place right at the end of the war, right into the new year. I got to give a shout out to the ball here. Just really cool that we've learned that they were used to some extent during the One-Year War, and we kind of see that specific paint scheme it has on it that is kind of reminiscent to what you'd see like in fighter planes. Yeah, so the ball units get like a surprise attack from a Zudah, and while that's occurring, some really cool music is playing in the background that just sort of sounds cool, kind of really goes with it. Another cool look at the Zudah here, and really this is the main weapon. That's a mobile suit that I mentioned earlier that's going to be the kind of the focus of this episode. This is developed by Zimmad, Z-I-M-M-A-D, instead of Zeonic. And really, for the Principality of Zeon, we had Zeonic and Zimmad developing mobile suits. They've both been doing it. But for the bid of, I guess, the mass-produced main unit, the Zaku 2, or the Zaku in general, won over because there's a design flaw with the Zudah where when it was using its thrusters at high speeds, the unit would simply just fall apart. Again, I love the propaganda videos they have going on here. It has that CRT look, almost like it's being, broadcast in an old school way. Again, almost making Zeon seem like everything's going good for them. Kind of cool that they're showing, I guess, some test footage they got of the legs walking for test mobile suits. I guess since the Federation has finally started developing mobile suits, and that's kind of what this propaganda video is touching on. Again, I just love the touches they have on this to add to that verisimilitude. I'm always saying I love these propaganda videos, but you can see the Zudah in this and how they're talking about how they succeeded in developing a new model mobile suit, knowing that it's actually a failure. But again, this is part of that propaganda. I loved how that kind of twirled and zoomed in, almost looked like an old school World War II I don't know, past that era of propaganda. Because actually, to be honest, I don't know how much graphical effects were used in World War II propaganda videos. I really haven't looked into that. But it does have that 50s, so it's a little later, vibe with this animation here. Again, just some awesome details to the verisimilitude of just creating this atmosphere of it being real or something. And this is where they introduce kind of the main character in this episode, like they do with each episode, alongside the main weapon, is Lieutenant Commander Jean-Luc Duval. Yeah, and the propaganda is pointing out now we will soon be mass producing this new model. And that seems to be another theme, because even with the Hidalfer, that pilot was talking about how soon they'll mass produce these. Yeah, and even, the captain of the Jotunheim thinks that this is a good thing. They finally got mobile suits, but little do they really know what's going on behind the scenes. It's just propaganda. Yeah, they even let us know the truth. So he's bringing up how it went to pieces during the test flight, and that was the EMS-04. So really, they call this the EMS-10, I believe, which really, they're just hiding the fact that it is the same unit that is defective. I don't believe that our assignment is to create propaganda. That's good. I really like how they are leaning into the propaganda, not just showing it off. And almost in Starship Troopers, the characters around it don't really recognize it. It's just part of the world. What I like that's going on in MS IGLOO is there's the propaganda and then the characters that are living in that and recognizing it. So this is pretty cool. He wanted to show the lieutenant a video, and it is of a Gundam, the Gundam, Amuro RX-78-2, and the hand reaching out toward the camera as the pilot inside is screaming. That's cool alternative propaganda. All right, we've jumped to November 9th. Yeah, so there were some test flights going on with the Zudahs around a Musai. One of them was just trying to be as quick as possible, and then the engine overload alert started coming on, and they were trying to call him back, trying to tell him, try to cut the engines, but yeah, that didn't work out. Again, kind of showing the CRT look as they are viewing the Zudah just break apart. Pretty scary. Just a cool shot. Officer May looking at the Zudah and the camera kind of zooming in, again with that depth of field, but the focus on the Zudah. Very cool. And it seems like the pilot himself, Jean-Luc, he just is either denying it or just not wanting to speak about it around the other officers. Yeah, and we got this funny little cartoon here that's kind of propaganda, but from the Federation, just making fun of their current situation. It seems that the only thing left for Zeon is bravado covered up with hoax. EFSF London. Pretty cool. So the crew got a distress signal to abort the current mission, head to Earth, as a lot of Zeon forces are trying to escape Earth. Because the Odessa's not going to plan, Earth Federation, with help of the Gundam, really has a leg up in the game. So yeah, they're trying to escape Earth's orbit, and it's really kind of up to the Jotunheim and the crew to see if they can rescue people. Kind of scary here. It's playing sad music, showing these like escape pods like crashing into each other and blowing up. Pretty crazy. And then here's some Federation ball units that have arrived, and they're really just going to start picking at the escape pods and just really start just mass murdering. Yeah, and even some Zakus are trying to step out of the pod and see if they can do what they can to help fight off the ball units, but really then they might be pulled back into the atmosphere. And as we learned from this point in the Gundam UC timeline, the mobile suits aren't really fit for escaping and entering the Earth's atmosphere. It requires a lot of power, and also falling into the Earth's atmosphere, the pilot will just burn up inside. So yeah, they decide then to launch the Zudah to maybe see what it can do in this time of need, really to rescue lives, which seems to be a big deal, you would think. Again, you see Jean-Luc, the pilot, he's all like prepared to kick some ass. It plays some kick-ass music on top of it, so pretty cool part. Very cool. And then rescuing others, very cool. Is this the first time we're seeing like the mass-produced GMs in battle? Honestly, this is probably a pretty cool conflict that's currently going on, where the Zudah is being used as kind of a last line of help to help all the Zakus or Zeon soldiers trying to escape, and then all of a sudden these mass-produced GMs come out of nowhere. Yeah, the Zudah took out the GM quickly and easily. Very cool. And even, yeah, the propaganda got to everyone, really, that this really isn't a good suit. Yeah, and that Commander Jean-Luc really decided to outmaneuver them. I guess they were mocking him. He took that seriously, and I guess he kind of has some pride into showing them, even if that means him killing himself. I like that line. And there he goes. Pretty sad. So November 10th is when Zeon officially abandons the Odessa mining facilities. Okay, and that's where episode 3 ends. So very interesting, kind of seeing the last hurrah of the Zudah, kind of showing that it is a capable mobile suit. Even compared to the Zaku, even up against the GMs, but it's one design flaw is what caused it just to be forgotten completely, to the point to where the main pilot, someone that could be, come a hero to Zeon's, got himself killed. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, hope you liked this episode. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and leave in the comments below if you have any thoughts on the Zudah and kind of this storyline. I think it's a very interesting thing, kind of showing not only propaganda, but propaganda within Zeon when it comes to the manufacturing, when it comes to the mobile suit design, and what they're even willing to do just to try to win. Although in this case, these characters are doing whatever they can to save lives and do the best that they can. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk later.